Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind podcast. On today's show, we're going to recap Fight to Win 102 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're going to preview the Combat Jiu Fight Night. We're going to preview BJJ Stars, GrappleFest 4, the Finishers Invitational, their 8th event, and Atos versus GF Team. As always, I'm your host, Maine, here with my co-host,
Emil.
How you doing, Emil?
I'm doing great. How are you feeling, Maine?
Not feeling great right now.
Yeah?
Not sure what's up.
What's up now? I feel like at this point we got to start each segment with what's new in Maine's health condition.
Jesus. So yeah, so we're gonna get into all the previews in here in a second. But we're gonna get into some news first. But so we've got the MRI back on my back, and apparently I have a herniated disc that's putting pressure on the S1 nerve root.
That sounds terrible.
It's not great. So I'm on tons of ibuprofen, which has been messing with my stomach and other stuff.
I'm glad that they've kind of figured out at least what's going on.
Dude, I'm way happy about it. It's only been 3 months of us like putting me in machines with like noises and giving me radiation, trying to figure it out. So I'm very happy that we've figured it out now, and we're going to start addressing it.
Well, I'm looking forward to whatever new superpowers that radiation gives you. So,
dude, I'm hoping. Yeah, I just woke up with vertigo, so like I hope not that superpower.
Okay.
So it's So in other news this week, maybe you got any news? I got a whole list of news here
Dude,
that I've got to do.
Fucking huge news. How about fucking let's talk about Kron Gracie.
Kron Gracie making his UFC debut. First Gracie in 24 years to get a UFC win.
Yeah, since 1994.
That's crazy.
Other Gracies have attempted it. So we had Henzo attempting it in the UFC and losing that bout. Hodger, I think Hulse Gracie too. Someone had mentioned. I can't remember.
I don't know. I saw the list and I went, wait, really? None of them have a win in the UFC?
Not in the UFC. In other promotions.
Yeah, like Strikeforce and like Pride and like they have a bunch of wins. But it was just crazy to see that it's been 24 years since a Gracie
that they created. You know, like and you know, in 1994. I mean, like that's pretty much like
that's the year after it started.
Exactly. Like
it's crazy.
But that match was.
By the way, we never cover MMA on the show.
It's a big deal.
Aside from when we have a marquee grappler make like a debut, or a marquee grappler move into like a big organization, have a big fight. So if you're here for MMA and not here for MMA, like we skip over this pretty quick, but Kron Gracie is a big deal grappler, and it's a big deal that he's in the UFC, and it looked really good.
Yeah, so son of Hickson, like obviously he comes from absurd pedigree in terms of MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And
his record speaks for himself for Jiu-Jitsu. Like he's ADCC 2-time medalist, I think. I don't know if he ever won ADCC.
He did once. Actually, Jack Slack just posted a really great video of him going against Marcelo. Basically, Marcelo is the only reason why he doesn't have multiple ADCC wins.
Pretty much. He ran up against Marcelo 2 times. I think 3 times in ADCC.
So twice he lost to Marcelo, which is like, okay, you know, like
no one, like lost to Marcelo, everyone's like, oh, that makes sense. That's reasonable. Yeah. And he was young, too. He was young when he was fighting Marcelo.
He was young, and like it was a really close match. It definitely looked like, you know, he kind of, like Marcelo's just absurd pace ended up winning it. But in terms of the UFC bout, he went up against was it Caceres?
Alex Caceres is the guy that he fought.
Yeah.
And Caceres has been in the UFC for a long time. I think it's his 20th bout in the UFC or something. And he's had a slew of wins and losses, but like it's a really good debut matchup because Caceres is pretty dangerous on the feet, but historically he struggled a little bit on the ground. Again, but he doesn't have a terrible ground game. We've seen him submit guys. It's just he's much more dangerous on the feet. So Kron was able to just like
he's lanky. He's got an unorthodox striking style, like, and it was just great. Like, you know, Dominic Cruz was commentating, and he said it perfectly, which is like, Kron did not have to worry at all about the takedown. No one's gonna fucking try to take him down. Yeah. And even if they do, he's perfectly fine. So he was able to.
It's like guys taking down Damian Maia. You're like, yeah, no one's gonna try to take down Damian Maia.
Right.
Like and everyone's like, nah, I miss me with that.
If you don't have to worry about the takedown, then like, yeah, you can fucking surge forward. You can throw power shots.
It's kind of what's made Cowboy so successful. Is like he's good off his back, and he's got really good jiu-jitsu, so he can just kick at will because he's not really worried about guys taking him down.
Right. And it paid off, and Kron was basically able to get Caceres up against the cage and kind of slink around to the back and hook his leg
He did that far side, like cross-legged position when you're kind of on the sideways position on the back.
While you're standing, and it's beautiful cage work, and he just fucking rolls backwards and takes Caceres' back, and at that point, it's just a matter of time before the RNC gets sunk in.
Gets the
Gets
tap,
the win.
and then whoop, there it is, per Kron himself. So that's that news. In other jiu-jitsu related news, let's see. I'm going through my notes here. Kron in UFC, Maine's back update. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, we're going to ADCC.
Hell yeah.
ADCC tickets got announced, and I went and snapped up some tickets for some of the guys, and myself and Rachel, and in the process of booking flights out there and doing hotels. So it's like, so we're going. I am super excited. ADCC is happening on September 28th and 9th at the Anaheim Convention Center, and I could not be more excited.
It's our fucking Olympics, man. It's like,
yeah, except it's good and entertaining, and there's a sport I want to watch as opposed to, like, even doing wrong. I love Olympic sports,
yeah,
but you watch most of the sports in the Olympics, and that's it. Like, I'm not really a big insert your obscure sport here. Like, I'm not really a big decathlon fan throughout the year. But ADC, yeah.
Seeing some people try to rip each other's heads off, hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So super excited about that. More will come out as we get closer to that. Again, that's 7 months away still. So the tickets are really reasonably priced too. I think floor seats are $120, and then I think upper decking is is that called upper decking?
Upper decking, yeah.
Are $30, and then mid tier is $50 for 2-day passes. So that's really good pricing.
Yeah,
and if you're in and honestly, flights are not too terrible right now. I've got a portion of the flights. I've got my flights. Still looking on Rachel's flights, and we're still looking at the rest of the team's flights to see if we can get those at a reasonable price. But
at least
so excited.
Grappling Rewind will be represented there. So.
Yeah, I got my flights and tickets.
Yeah, I'll be getting it soon. I'm trying to parlay it into several trips out that way.
I'm so excited about this.
Yes.
I got
awesome.
giddy booking the flights.
Seriously, ADCC, it's not always accessible.
No, it was in Finland.
Yeah.
And before that it was in China and UK and Brazil. It's not places that are quick flights like that for US guys to get out of the country. It's not. There's visas, other stuff. This is just I can get a direct flight from BWI to LAX and then take a 45-minute car ride to the convention center.
Not to mention, just the sheer number of amazing athletes that live in that region. Could you imagine? If there's
That's why they moved the IBJJF Worlds to Cali there, because there's so many guys.
If there's a pullout if someone can't make...
You can't call it a pullout. If there's a pullout of the event.
Well, whatever. You know what I'm saying.
If someone drops out of the event.
If someone drops out,
we're not going to have what we had the problem with in China, where we had some dropouts, and then they were filling it with local blue belts. I think there was 1 or 2 divisions that got filled in with some local guys, and it was what is this dude doing here?
It's basically a buy round, yeah. But in LA, nah, man.
You can still run into world-class black belts that are just going to be at the event chilling.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So... no worries about that. It's going to be fire no matter what. So
yeah. So in other news, you got anything else on ADCC?
No.
I could talk about ADCC for 3 straight episodes. I love ADCC. It, again, is why we do this show, because I love covering ADCC, and there wasn't enough coverage in 2017. So Keenan drops his lapel guard DVD as well, and Gordon Ryan dropped his DVD, and apparently he's made in the first, I want to say 2 or 6 hours, $100,000.
Are you serious?
Off DVD sales. Yeah. He posted somewhere, and someone did the math on it, the amount of DVDs he had sold, and it was that's actually reasonable. Yep, $100,000 in the first day, the first few hours of that DVD. Dude deserves it.
Yeah,
you're a known name, and you put up good stuff, and you beat a bunch of dudes. So, 2 hugely different instructionals popped out this week, and Keenan's is an entire anthology of 8 DVDs of every lapel guard and annoying position you could ever begin to describe. He's got a system around it. So
amazing.
We live in the awesome era of DVDs. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah. Our website now has a list of streaming locations for upcoming events.
Hell yeah.
So if you want to go and want to see what's upcoming, go to our website, and you can go on our events list, and then to the side there, we're in the process of still adding a lot of it. You can go click on the direct link to whatever organization and wherever it should be streamed. It should be up there. Again, we're not 100% on that yet. I'm still in the process of adding it. It's a pretty long process to go and find, especially events that are more out in the future. So my big goal to get that is all the events that are the coming week, to put a streaming location in for there, and then as time allows, go out and further, because the farther events are, it's just really hard to find streaming locations sometimes. So one-stop shop for all your event-related stuff should be on our website.
That's right. And so basically, anytime you need to find out exactly how do I watch this, where do I watch it, what event's happening, we'll have that information link, grapplingrewind.com. just go there and keep us in mind anytime you have event-related questions.
Yep. Oh, and other news, I was on the BJJ Power Hour. With Chris
Hell yeah,
Walters.
dude.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We just did it. We had about an hour. I think the episode's about an hour long. And him and I talked a little before, a little after about like other stuff in jiu-jitsu and the podcast space and some stuff more related to like running of the shows and like that sort of thing. It's great. Super nice guy. Highly recommend the show. He's got some really cool guests on that are far cooler than me. So definitely I recommend go take a listen to that show. It was a lot of fun to be on. Great guy, and I really like his show. In other news, if you like our show, on that note, share it out to people on Facebook and other stuff. We don't really pimp the show a ton in the beginning of the show like this usually, but a big goal for us for 2019 is to grow the show and get it to a larger viewing audience. It just lets us do more stuff with the show, and we think we have a pretty good product. So if you think that as well, please share it out to the folks at your gym and other places you think that may hit people that will enjoy the content.
We have a lot of content on Instagram, and the main has done an excellent job. Taking audio clips from the podcast where we're breaking things down, talking about strategy, talking about moves, and then pairing it with amazing video that he's compiled from all these athletes, reaching out to them, getting their perspective, getting their video.
Oh yeah, big props to Amanda Levy. She basically provided me with most of the footage that I used on that highlight because for us, it's really hard to go find a lot of the athletes know exactly when they've hit that move before, and so they shoot us the videos. Her and Josh Hinger were really helpful this week in like helping me get those videos up because they were able to find like, hey, this is where I hit this move before, where you can use it.
So check it out on Instagram. You can watch us break those moves down and hear us talk about it. And if you like it, go ahead and share it.
Yep. So I think that does it all for news. Let's move into. We move into the recaps?
Yeah, let's do recaps.
All right, let's do it. So on to our recap of Fight to Win 102 in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. This event paid out a total of $24,068 in salaries and commissions and was headlined by black belt Mahamed Aly defeating Max Gimenes via cross choke. That was submission of the night. Mahamed Aly becomes the black belt male super heavyweight gi champion. That was a mouthful.
Yeah, these titles are, every time I see them, I'm like, holy fucking shit. There's like 9 words in the title. There's so many like...
Because I like that you break them out. Like different guys, like they have purple belt titles at masters and at weights and at genders. Sexes or genders?
That's
sex, probably.
Probably gender, is my guess.
And then they have like titles for brown belts, same thing. Black belt, same thing in masters. So like I like that they split titles out like that. So you can get you get a number of titles. You pretty much get a title match, a card, if not a couple, and then you also get like guys that should be fighting each other actually able to fight each other. Like it's awesome.
100%.
I love it. And we're gonna start with this match first.
Yeah, let's fucking talk about it.
This was super exciting. This is Mahamed Ali's debut for Fight to Win, and I love watching Ali compete. I think the last time I saw him might have been versus Rodolfo.
Yeah, I think
at black belt CBD. He may have been on something else, but offhand I don't recall. I could be missing that. You gonna look it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because I'm pretty sure he was on something recently.
But again, super exciting. Whenever a guy makes a debut for Fight to Win, it's a different rule set, and
it's a different rule set, and like, dude, it's so easy to forget. Like, I know Mahamed Ali's a beast. I know,
and he is
in
a
the back
finisher
of my
too.
head, he's a fucking world champ. But then
he's the current world champ.
To watch him do it is like fucking crazy, man. It's absolutely nuts. Oh yeah, he was in Nogi Worlds, and then previous to that, he was in black belt CBD.
Okay, so he hasn't competed a ton recently at all.
Yeah. Just marquee events. Holy shit, man! Like he's so fucking athletic and talented. Like,
we saw a little less of the judo than I thought we were gonna see, but one moment of the match, like they pushed around a lot at the beginning, and you could see he immediately goes for a shot as soon as the time starts.
Yeah, and I mean, he was attempting judo. There's a lot of grip fighting and sweep attempts, but Mahamed hits a fucking beast of a fireman's carry. Maybe a third of the way through the match.
Something like that.
We were talking about that. Like he shoots in from really far out.
Well, Max Gimenis is on his knees, And usually when I see a fireman carry, especially on big guys, you see the big guy basically drop into the empty space beneath the guy, and then it brings the shoulders of the guy who's about to be thrown over top of them so they can load, and then they go and they lift up and they do the rotating motion for the firemen's. But Mahamed Aly doesn't do that. Max Gimenis is already kind of on his knees, and Ali is really far away with the grips and just slides like underneath him, and you're like, okay, he's going for it. There's no way from that position he's going to hit it, and then he does. He lifts him up.
It's one of those terrifying, kind of like a little slow takedowns where you're just like, oh, he's gonna stall out here.
Oh, he's gonna get crushed here.
And he doesn't. He just keeps lifting, and you're like, wait, what the fuck is happening? What?
He actually made the angle. I was like, that. And again, this is why I love watching these top guys. This is the stuff that gets me on like going for why we watch all these matchups, is because you see stuff like this where it's like, there's no way he's going to lift a super heavyweight over him and finish. And then he gets there, he slides in, and he lifts, and it's like, oh, damn, he did it. But the funny thing was, he gets it. I was like, holy shit, he got the throw. And then Max Gimenis goes, cool, I'm going for the back. And because it doesn't over-rotate, but Max Gimenis realizes what's happening and like rotates on his side a little bit and starts to take Ali's back.
So what happens is, if during a fireman's carry, you gotta get the person loaded up over your shoulders. Like, think about carrying like a big ass duffel bag over your shoulders, or like even a heavy bag you could probably train with like that.
Or like a firefighter carrying someone out of a building.
Or like a firefighter carrying someone off a building. Thanks, Maine.
What's up, man? I got you.
So
you're gone next week, I'm gonna miss you. I gotta give you all the shit this week because Josh is gonna give me all the shit next week.
So if you fall backwards a little bit, you have this problem where you're kind of facing upwards, almost like you're leaning on a big pillow, and that's sort of the position that they got into.
I hope these analogies really come through on the mic, on audio version. Someone's in their car listening, like, I'm on a big pillow, and I'm okay. This makes sense now.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little dangerous, and Max almost takes the back here.
It's honestly it's a pretty risky takedown. You see guys really successful with it, but unless you're really, really good at it, it's a fairly risky takedown because the neck's right there. You can scoot to the back. Like, there's a bunch of ways that if a guy identifies it and starts to flatten you out, it's a really tough takedown.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard takedown to do if you can't throw them off of your shoulders. If you're falling with them on your shoulders, there's some problems that can arise.
Yeah, or you can't sit out properly. There's a bunch of ways you can finish it, but it's a technique you really only see guys that are really confident in the technique hit.
And but Mahamed is able to stabilize at this point, and he gets up into a passing position after barely escaping this back take.
Yeah, because Max starts to like lock up the neck. Looks like he's kind of going from the angle. I had a hard time seeing exactly what he was going for, but he had the head basket, and it almost looked like he was going for like kind of like a Darce or like a side choke from the position. Like, he wasn't there, and Mahamed Aly kind of addressed it, but really just postured out of it. But it looked like he did have to address it.
Oh yeah, it definitely looked like a serious threat. And they get back up to their feet, and this becomes just a colossal battle of grips and snap downs from the feet.
It's a big guy pushing battle.
Big guy pushing battle.
And something that I saw that was really cool, it's a little small thing that I watched Mahamed do really well, and you see a lot of the top guys do really well, is he leans on Max Gimenis with the collar grips at like a 15-degree angle or so, pretty much the entire time.
Yeah.
Where he's like,
always
he's forcing
pressure.
Max to carry his weight the entire time. And you see tall guys do this, and you see guys that are really, really good. They never overcommit with the weight. So if the guys were to sprawl or to do a snap by or like a throw by technique, it's not going to work because you're not pushed over enough, but you're making the guy carry your weight for big portions of the bout and making him tired. And it's a really cool thing. And there's a couple camera angles where you can see Mahamed at that like 15-degree angle just pushing Gimenis down.
So at some point, there's an eye poke. They need to take like a little bit of a break. But
wasn't too long.
Eventually, Mahamed gets back on top, and he starts initiating a knee cut pass. And he does the really awesome lapel grip knee cut pass, which is a double threat, right? Because what you can do is, I can't remember who made this famous, if it was Leandro Lo or someone, but you basically get a cross collar grip for the knee cut pass.
So you're on top, you're trying to slide the knee through, and the guy's forced you into the quarter guard, but on the knee cut.
And you start threatening the cross choke. And so now the person on bottom has to, it's a double threat of dealing with the cross choke or permitting the pass.
Yeah, you should either frame with the knee basically to stop the knee from coming through and change the angle. But if the guy starts to get the choke deep, then you have to kind of start fighting the hands, and so it'll lean and it'll leave you open to getting your hips squared out so the guy can slide the knee through. And Mahamed Aly is on top and starts to set up this cross choke grip, and it's like, ooh. And you see him also lifting into Max Gimenis, like doing the mean knee on belly thing where you just push your knee into like the sternum and like the chest.
Yep.
And he sets the grips up. I was like, oh, he's not going to go for this from a quarter guard.
Oh, he totally does. And he gets around to side control. He gets the pass, and then at that point he's maintaining the grip and
Did he actually get past?
Yeah, oh yeah, he got
Oh
past.
shit, I thought he finished it from like a top knee on belly knee cup position.
No, he gets through.
I didn't. I missed that.
Yeah.
Again, he finishes it really soon after getting through, probably then.
Oh yeah,
because I remember in my head, in my note, it goes, oh, he doesn't get through. In your notes, it goes, he gets through.
Oh yeah, no, he
Awesome.
got through.
Yeah, camera angle's really cool in this one as well, and it was super impressive performance. And now Mahamed Aly has the belt, and I have absolutely no idea who could take that from him.
No, yeah, there's nobody. Or very few people.
He's ranked number 1 in the world in the gi for average GF. Max Gimenis is ranked number 4.
Yeah.
And like he just subbed the number 4 dude. So that means that there's a couple other guys like
maybe
okay.
Leandro Lo.
But at the weight class, like a guy like Buchecha might be able to do it. A guy like Arges, but like guys that are gonna be in the scene that are guys we could see on Fight to Win. Like there's very few guys that could take that title from him.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe Fight to Win starts booking those like absurd super fights.
They've booked their this matchup is like an absurd super fight.
Yeah.
So like I could see it, like they're getting big judo guys, like more and more big name guys you're seeing make their Fight to Win debut, and it's so exciting.
Yep.
Because we get to see dope matchups like this with actual good camera work and commentary, and it's not just at the finals of some tournament where it's there's a camera on the mat. It's like, oh, there's actually it's a professional, like it gives it the love it deserves.
Right.
So that was super exciting. Anything else on that matchup, Emil?
No. Next match is Gustavo Montero Araujo defeating Jesse Jaquez by decision.
You can't. It's a Spanish name, Emil. You can't butcher it that badly.
Oh, I can though.
You did. All right, next matchup.
This is a pretty good match, by the way. With Gustavo and Jesse. Jesse hits a couple bread and butter single legs, and Gustavo gets into a guard and attacks the scissor sweep, initiates a scramble. This is actually there's great transitions in this match back and forth. So from the scramble, he gets to a front headlock, and then there was a textbook sit-out escape that during that sit-out escape, Jesse reads it and is able to throw up a triangle. So it's these wonderful transitions, things that we really get excited about when we start watching jiu-jitsu. People who have versatile games, they're not just doing the same thing day in, day out.
You're not Husma Pahari sitting in the quarter guard or sitting in the butterfly guard not passing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, this is a very good match. Definitely recommend going back and watching that one too. So next match we have Jacob Benitez defeating Benjamin Sandoval by Darce. In this case, Ben has a full guard and shoots for a high guard triangle. He doesn't secure it, and this is where doing the same thing over and over again sometimes can be a liability because he shoots a triangle a second time.
Dude, especially sorry, I'm gonna cut you off here. Especially at the black belt level, guys that you don't get a whole lot of retries on stuff at a black belt level usually. Because guys recognize the setup, especially if the setup's the same or even similar. Guys knows, okay, I feel his hip shift here. I see his body position change where he's going to start to go for something. He's already gone for the triangle the first time. He might shoot that same triangle up the second time.
And he does. And Jacob Benitez reads it completely and initiates a pass. And, within seconds, he's inside control with a headlock. And he does an awesome, from the headlock, anaconda attack, and then grabbing his own wrist and pulling it through for the Darce.
So he does that hand-to-hand switch there.
It's just a great setup. Great, obviously great triangle choke attempts, arm triangle choke attacks here, and really versatile stuff. Textbook. Go back and watch that finish. Then we have Aaron Pearls defeating Nate Harris by decision. After that, we have Joel Whitney defeating Henry Martinez by decision.
And on to the black belt judo matchup. So this is a lot of fun. So on not Instagram, on Twitter, Seth Daniels posted like of how many years running these tournaments, and he's seen like 7,000 matches, something like that. It's between Tournament of Champions, the Fight to Win runs, which is their like local tournament they run in Denver. It's like an amateur tournament, and Fight to Win. Between all of those, he's never reffed a match, I think is what he posted. And I was like, wait, what? How? And I was like, wait, why all of a sudden is he going to ref this match? And it's because Seth is a judo black belt. And he's really good. And he gets how to ref judo. And it's really funny to see Seth reffing his own event because he is probably one of the more knowledgeable guys for the judo reffing that they could possibly get.
I really respect that. I think as a promoter, it's important to... I mean, I know that they're hiring the refs and stuff, but like it's good because the refs that they bring in are third party. I'm glad that he doesn't, do this unless it's absolutely necessary. And in this case, it's very necessary because
he knows the
judo
yes.
Exactly. And again.
Well, the other thing is he knows judo and he knows the rule set for judo Fight to Win is using, because the rule set Fight to Win is using is not the current IJF rule set. And so
even still, I mean, like if someone was really well versed in the IJF rule set, I'm sure they could ref this like reasonably well.
Yeah.
But like for example, the commentary again. We're still learning judo. We all are. And they were still learning some of the basics, even in terms of like
they called a waziri, like they called it something funny,
something really,
and it
weird,
was. Yeah. I heard it. I was like, wait, what'd they call that?
And they even said like, oh, someone's texting me this right now. So it's like,
look, I appreciate we're learning. Like it's a learning experience.
It's a learning
experience.
The
second one they've run.
So it's good that Seth, who's very experienced, is the one reffing this.
And I like that he was like pushing the guys back in, like because other refs will be like, oh, gingerly and like touch him, push him back in. They almost got off the mat once, and Seth like shoves them back in, and I was like, Seth doesn't give a shit. I love that.
So this is Garrett Aldrich defeating Jesse Butler by fucking choke.
Yeah.
I love great.
In this match they called a slam and ippon. Because that's the old school rules.
I guess I don't know
Dude,
about that.
You land flat on the shoulders. That's an ippon.
But
it's an old school judo technique.
Yeah, but I mean,
Kanebasame, not Kanebasame.
It's like, so what if you slam someone from the guard twice, you win a match?
Yeah, bro. Judo rules. It's judo rules.
I don't know about that.
And it's an old school judo technique. And go look it up. Like you can't.
I get that.
That's the rules, man.
I get it's the rules, but like switch it up a little bit because like. I don't know. There are some weak guard slams. That was an ippon slam though. That's exactly what that looks like. And if you're doing judo rules, I have no issue with that. And we'll see it a couple times, but after that we won't see it again because guys will know, oh, if this dude lifts me and slams me in the guard, that's one of the two ippons he has to score, and like it'll make guys be much more active and not do the hold on to the guard thing. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought it was. I get where you're coming from, and you're not wrong. But I really appreciated that it was called, like, it was properly called per the rule set that they're using.
Sure.
I appreciate
just adjust the rule set is what I'm saying.
That's reasonable.
This was fucking an amazing match. It's a beautiful bow and arrow setup that Aldrich hits. Butler basically muffs a throw, so he has a kind of like a collar grip, and he
technical term there.
He just he commits the way you do in judo, and he kind of like ends up on his knees turtled, and Aldrich maintains his own collar grip and does this just ridiculous step over and into a roll to get the finish. And at that point, like it's an instantaneous tap. It's just such a
quick.
Fucking beautiful move. Highly recommend it. I love these judo finishes because they come on dumb fast.
Dude, because the judo guys know, like, I've got between 4 and 30 seconds to work at maximum. And so if they don't see, in judo, if you don't see progression in the position, like, at an alarming rate, they just stand you up.
Yeah.
And so you guys in judo have really, really quick finishing, like, pieces. And also because there's less niwaza in judo, I think both these guys are also jiu-jitsu black belts. I don't recall.
Certainly one of them was wearing I think a Gracie Barra, like
it was like an old school Adidas gi. It was an old school
There was the Adidas gi. That was
the GB gi. That was the GB gi.
That was what tipped me off to it being a judo match before, because like I'd skipped forward into it and then like I was like, oh, this is the judo match. I was like, oh, the Adidas gis, you don't see that too much in jiu-jitsu. It's a lot more common in judo.
Oh yeah, because it's still like because Adidas makes judo gis still.
Yeah.
But they don't really. They're hard. It's hard to find a jiu-jitsu gi. I don't think they make them anymore.
I think they do, but like they're just not popular really. Or they did. They certainly did at one point. I remember you could buy.
So
them,
you saw the judo gi with GB patches. Like that's weird. That's the mixing of the sports. It was cool. So that was a lot of fun. Want to move into the brown belts?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So brown belt results.
We got Dan Dykeman defeating Eric Valdez by rear naked choke. We have Craig Ansbach defeating Tao Pleasant by armbar. Saul Elizondo defeating Eric Buck by neck crank.
Dude, that's right. That was submission of the night for the brown belts. I got excited there for a second. This neck crank is awesome. So what happens here is this is basically a variation of what's called 100% sweep. And I did this for years and had no idea what it was called until I was just searching videos one day and I was looking for I found something. I forget, it's a 10th planet move. And I was like, oh, that's what that thing's called. And basically what it is Saul is in the guard. No, sorry.
Saul has the guard.
Saul has the guard. And then you reach... Oh, explain. You can try to walk me through this position.
Sure. Maine just showed this to me. It's fucking amazing.
I love this move so much.
The mechanisms until we just did it. But basically, Saul is in the guard, and it looks from the angle, it looks like he's doing a sit up into a guillotine. But Maine showed me, he with the arm, he's not looping around the head. What you do is you shoot your arm over the head like you were going to do a guillotine, and then you take your hand and you swim it under the armpit of that far arm.
And then you clasp your hands together.
Yeah, you take your far arm and you kind of like gable grip, and then you yank in the other direction.
And usually you do it from the butterfly guard. And that's usually where I hit it from because I'm a butterfly guard player, but you can also do it from the closed guard.
So yeah, Saul does it from the closed guard, and it's a beautiful, just as a sweep, it's beautiful. I mean, it like happens instantly. It's the kind of thing where it's like there's zero resistance.
Because and the reason why is because it's putting a ton of pressure on the shoulder and on the neck. Because basically, if you don't take the sweep, the guy can just finish you from the actual guard or from the butterfly guard in this position. So you like kind of let the sweep happen because you're trying to get your hips away, and as a result of getting your hips away, the guy just takes you over super easily.
So Saul ends up on top and mount, but is maintaining this grip where basically his arm is slaloming behind the neck, but then back underneath the armpit. And so it's generating a ton of pressure on the neck. And if you just continue to twist your torso while pushing back on the neck with your elbow, it generates a ton of pressure on the neck, and he gets the neck crank tap.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome.
If you get a guy that's flexible, you can also get an arm lock here too. It's like either one. It is a sucky position to be in, and I absolutely love it. You never see it. But because I shoot so many guillotines, you can get that arm underneath on the cross side sometimes and get this beautiful. It is a great technique that you don't see a whole lot, and it's definitely deservedly submission of the night for the brown belts. I love this technique.
Very great submission. Go back and watch it.
If you want to look it up, it's called it's a variation of what's called 100% sweep. I've never seen it called anything else because I didn't know what anyone had named it until like recently, probably like 2 years ago. It's a great technique. It's a huge tool in my toolbox. Go watch this.
So then we have Cody Hofstadter defeating Luis Castillo by decision. We have Troy Everett defeating James Gifford by guillotine.
That was fight of the night for the brown belts.
This was a fucking awesome match, and Troy actually walked out to Mariah Carey's Fantasy, which is a fucking great song.
Troy walks out to more and more ridiculous 90s and like early 2000s shit every time. Like sometimes he's walking out with like uniforms and things. And sometimes he's just coming out dancing to like 90s, like 2000s pop.
It's fucking great.
It just makes me laugh. He's just having a good time.
And yeah, this was a great match. It started off with Troy playing a lot of half guard. At one point he
was in the guard too. He was in the guard for a good portion of the match as well.
Yeah, the beginning of it. This is how it started, but he calmly sets up a deep darce. Like he just kind of sits up and then gets this really like calm kind of snap down, gets into the darce, and then rolls, and it looks fucking deep.
Because we've seen Troy finish a bunch of guillotines in fight to... I mean, not guillotines, sorry, darces in fight to win. Like, that's the submission that I know him for the most in fight to win is he does a really funny wrist lock off of, like, a collar tie, and he does this darce. And those are the two things that I see him finish the most.
So Troy rolls on his back while he's, like, just slamming this deep darce on, and James escapes and immediately shoots to mount, but Troy's able to bridge out and nicely escape to a standing. At this point, James shoots a double, but he's, he kind of telegraphs that his head's facing downwards, and Troy just snaps on a arm and guillotine and gets the tap.
Just finishes it from close guard and just like grabs right in. It's been a really back and forth matchup at this point. We're getting closer to the end of time. Something Fight to Win has started doing this week and last week. They don't have the time listed on the broadcast for how much time is left on the match. So I don't know why they've started doing that. So it's really, I can't, because I'm not going to get a stopwatch out for a match. I don't know how much time was left in the match, and I wish that they would bring that back.
Yeah,
because it
makes watching it a lot easier.
Yeah, they also don't have the cards for like the name for the person that's on when they walk out. I'm not sure why they've kind of stopped the picture stuff all of a sudden, and I don't know why. So I don't know how much time was left in this match, but I think it was towards the end of the match.
Might have been on Flograppling's end.
I don't know, but yeah, it's Fight of the Night. It's
Fight of the Night.
Yeah, it was Fight of the Night. Yeah, because it was really
belts,
back and forth, exciting. A couple different submission attempts, like nice transitional work from both guys. Enjoyed this matchup. Deservedly brown belt Fight of the Night.
So next match, we have Fernando Amadeo defeating Johnny Gurul by rear naked choke.
On to the purple belt and the blue belt results.
Sarah Apodaca defeats Jenna Asuna by armbar. Reese Killebrew defeats Edgar Gamboa by decision.
And that was Fight of the Night for the blue and purple belts.
Ressen Messer defeats Abby Gonzalez by rear naked choke. Morgan Massey defeats Renee Grobiger. Bernardo Douche Griego defeats Alec Vallis by decision. Sorry, that's Dusic Griego.
I looked at it. I was like, I don't think that's how that's said, but I do not have the wherewithal to correct you.
Kateri Jajola defeats Kendra Carmona by decision. Jeff Wallace defeats Charles Bird by decision. Ali Price defeats Nicole Sandoval. Oh, sorry. Ali Price defeats Nicole Sandoval by decision. Nate Flanders defeats Joey Acosta by armbar. Vin Beretta defeats Adolfo Gomez by heel hook. Christian Edwards defeats Car King by heel hook. Emanol Garcia defeats Oscar Garcia by triangle. Javier Rubio defeats Jared Lesperance by decision. Keenan Jackson defeats Eric Silva by Americana. Wow. I can't remember the last time I saw an Americana finish. It's been a hot minute. Jesse LaFoya. Yeah, think about it. We see Kimuras, but we almost never see Americana.
That's right. That's weird.
Yeah.
I finished way more Americanas than Kimuras.
Really?
Yeah.
I finished more Kimuras.
My Kimura game is because I can't do right and left. So for some reason I can never lock up the grip for the Kimura. I always lock up the grip for the Americana in whatever position I am. I play a really heavy like neon belly game, so it's like that's just there. I don't like the step over for the Americana. I like the top side. I don't like the step over for the Kimura. I like the top side Americana.
Okay.
So
then we got Jesse LaFoya defeating Rand Weathers by decision. Brian Neff defeats Luis Rivera by decision. Jess Martinez defeats Donnie Bryan by Kimura. Tyler Starr defeats Greg Hassan by guillotine. Jared McLaughlin defeats David Gomez by decision. Paul Hunoff defeats Gerald Aldaco by decision. Kaylin Aragon defeats Mercedes White by decision. Slade Ring defeats Darren Donati by omoplata, rear naked choke.
that was the same thing we saw in the trials.
Yeah.
We saw it 2 weeks in a row on this one. I was like, oh,
It's so
shit.
weird how that happens.
Dude, I love when that happens to Jiu-Jitsu because what happens is everyone spends the previous week like, look at that amazing sub.
Oh, yeah,
and they
didn't know
hear
I
us
could do
break it
that.
down on the podcast, and they decide to incorporate it into their into their game, and then you start seeing it. It was pretty much the exact same setup. Grabs the omoplata and then reaches over for that pin lock and gets the rear naked choke on it. And it's like, I love, like, we saw this when the Wagner smother came out. And we saw this with the Sulubev stretch. And, like, somebody would hit something, and then the whole community will go, oh, I could hit that too.
Oh, yeah.
And then you see it happen for about, like, a month, and then all of a sudden we go back to regular jiu-jitsu again.
Well, I don't know. The Wagner thing we're seeing a lot recently, but
That's a good point. Well, no, actually, no, we're seeing a lot of it. We're seeing it get banned a lot in different rule sets now.
Oh,
a bunch of organizations have come out and been like, you can't cover the face like this, like Wagner.
Fuck that.
I have seen at least 3 different organizations go, oh, you can't do this anymore.
Fuck that. That move is great.
It is a great move.
We have Sergio Gonzalez defeating Jude Romero by Darce. Brendan Baca defeats Alex Allison by decision. Andres Arcoleta defeats Enrique Godina by decision. Akuma Matters defeats Shamar Walker by decision. Jake Riglin defeats Brian Tilla by choke.
And that does it for our recap of Fight to Win 102 in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. So this is the point in the show we were going to recap Copa Podia Season 6. We tried to watch this event, but it wouldn't let me make an account to do it. And then Emil was able to do it, and he bought the pay-per-view, and the video is not up yet.
Yeah, it's a little discouraging.
So we bought it, and we're going to watch it, but right now we tried to do it, and we were unable to do it live. So now the show's coming out and the video's not up, and we literally can't get to the content. So I think Tommy Langacker did really well, and I want to see it, but we can't at this time.
That's about the extent of what we can comment. And I mean, like, just, you know, if you're a promotion and you want people to get excited and share and talk about it, you know, like, definitely do what you can to get that video up as soon as possible. But in any event, we will be we'll mention any noteworthy stuff that happens that we see.
Yeah, probably next week.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to our preview of the Combat Jiu-Jitsu Fight Night in Los Angeles, California. This event features an absolute Combat Jiu-Jitsu 4-man bracket. We've had a bunch of changes to this. This event takes place on March 22nd. It's a Friday. So we've had a bunch of changes to this event recently, and literally about 2 hours ago, it was announced that Josh Barnett was out of this event as well, and he's been replaced by, is it Stefan or Steven?
Not sure. Steven Martinez?
Steven Martinez. We've seen him fight before. He's a
so
Bellator guy.
This is a absolute 4-man bracket with Steven Martinez, Yuri Samoas, Kevin Casey, and John Blank. It's for $20,000.
Yeah, John Blank is the 185-pound Combat Jiu Champion that was on the last event.
And this is going to occur Friday, February 22nd at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Is Yuri a MMA fighter as well? I think he has fights, right? I think all of these guys either have combat jiu-jitsu experience or professional fights. This has actually kind of become a more interesting bracket now because you don't have, like, Yuri, I think, is the most well-known jiu-jitsu guy, but all of these guys are jiu-jitsu guys. Like, John just got third, I think, at the ADCC West Coast Trials. Like, I think he lost a hanger via a pass. Kevin Casey's been around for a really long time. Yuri's a perennial top competitor in grappling, and Steven's got the MMA experience. So this is a really, really exciting. Like, this became a really exciting switch up.
Yeah, there was a lot of changes to this. The original lineup was Fabricio Verdum, Josh Barnett, Rostov Chisev.
No. The original lineup was Vinny Magalhaes and Gordon Ryan.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. So Vinny was announced initially, and then it was changed to, I think it was changed to
Rustam.
Rustam was in the event, and then Verdum got pulled out, and Yuri got put in. Then Gordon Ryan got pulled out.
We cannot go through all the permutations. There's literally been, I think, 6 or 7 changes, but I'm looking at.
This is the most current one.
We just listed the most current one, but one of the premier promotions that they had was Verdum, Barnett, Rustam, and Gordon Ryan, and that would have been really lopsided because you had Fabricio Verdum and Josh Barnett, who are extremely experienced fucking MMA fighters.
Yeah.
You know, like that is extremely lopsided. You know, as good as Gordon Ryan is, and as much as I would have loved to see him in this format, like, Fabricio was the fucking heavyweight champion of the UFC, and Josh Barnett, you know,
was also the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and they've both competed in ADCC, and Verdum was a 2-time world champion, 2-time ADCC champion. So, like, it's really, your deck is stacked there. So this, honestly, like, I'm excited to see how this plays out because it's a lot of guys that we've seen before, but we've not seen as much in this format. Like, John Blank has the most experience in this format, being the 185-pound champion, and it's exciting. Like, you don't, like, anyone could take this bracket, and now it's like, I like the story for this is fun.
Yeah,
it's entertaining. There's also a host of other combat jiu-jitsu matches on this. We got Kyle Baim is on here. We have Bia Mesquita on here. We have Kayla Patterson. We have Brandon Moreno, like a really top-level UFC fighter. It is loaded with a bunch of other matches. This is a straight combat jiu-jitsu card. Marco Beltran is in here as well. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Friday, February 22nd, starting at
10 p.m. Eastern.
10 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
Because I always get the West Coast time mixed up.
UFC Fight Pass, too.
Yep. So looking forward to that one. Anything else, Emil?
That's it.
All right. So moving on to our preview of BJJ Stars happening on
February 23rd.
February. Oh yeah, that's 2, right? I got my months mixed up. Next weekend, Saturday, February 23rd. This event is a pay-per-view event. I think it's like $10 on BJJ Stars website.
It is a no-brainer $10 to spend. This is fucking absurd. Like the sheer talent that they have on this card of super fights. Let's get through it.
This is like ACBJJ levels of absurdity.
I think greater than that, man. This is fucking nuts.
It's crazy. So I want to start at the top of the card.
Yeah.
All right.
We have Erberth Santos versus Felipe Pena. We have Marcus Buchecha versus Joao Gabriel Rocha. We have Nicholas Meregali versus Leandro Lo. We have Babalu versus Roberto Godoy. Megaton versus Marco Barbosa. Izaki Bahens versus DJ Jackson. Patrick Gaudio versus Tim Spriggs. We have Delson Pachumbo versus Dedede. That's fucking
I can
crazy.
never say Tedede's name.
Dedede is on this fucking card. Like the guy who people most credit with like spearheading modern jiu-jitsu, like how we think of modern passing. That's fucking crazy, let alone Buchecha and fucking Santos. We also have...
that's Felipe Pena.
What's that?
Is that Felipe Pena?
Where?
Yeah, right there. That guy.
Oh, shit, is it?
Yeah, it's his name
Oh,
is
it's
different.
his other name? Oh,
yeah, it's
shit.
the other name for it. I was like, it looks like fucking Felipe Pena versus Erberth Santos. But then you said the name different. I was like, that's his face, I'm pretty
That's
sure.
fucking Pena, yeah. Holy shit.
Like, that's the top of the card. And then, we're not even into, like, the undercard yet.
Yeah, Kelso Vinicius, Gabriel Palto. We have Bianca Basilio versus Michelle Nicolini. That's a fucking crazy matchup. Carlos Eduardo da Silva versus Ricardo Rocha Pingo. That's
like,
fucking nuts.
That's the matchup. It's streaming on bjjstars.tv, and it's like $10.
Every single one of these matches is these are true super fights.
Yeah, these
like,
are all
the term
headline
super
matchups.
Fights gets like thrown around a lot. You're like, all right, dude, Meregali versus Leandro Lo. Like, dude, I will fucking watch.
That's not even on the top of the card.
I know.
That's like the top 4. That's like one of the top 4 matches on the card, and like the Erberth. I don't know. We can pontificate about this all you want. Like all of these matchups, if half of these matchups make it to fight night, it's still
a stacked card,
an insane card. We got Spriggs and Jackson on the card. Like,
this is just fucking do
you want to even speculate on some of these matches? Like, I think Buchecha versus Joao Gabriel Rocha should be really good.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, you're saying which ones are going to be good? Meregali versus Leandro Lo is going to be
Which one
fire.
do you think is like? Do you want to pick a winner or no?
No, we'll just talk about. I mean, Leandro Lo versus Nicholas Meregali is going to be fucking ridiculous. Those guys go ham.
Yeah, they both go like those are both 2 super active, super explosive guys. Like Meregali just pushes the pace, and Lo also just pushes
I'm
the
excited
pace.
to see what terror that it is like right now. Like,
he's been competing more recently too.
Yeah,
we've seen him like doing opens and like larger, not large, like a lot of stuff in Brazil. Like we've seen him be way more active in the past like year.
This is
previously
fucking crazy. So, no brainer. Spend $10. You can watch it at bjjstars.tv. Again,
the excitement is real.
February 23rd. Yeah, this is huge.
So, on to our preview of GrappleFest 4 taking place in Liverpool, Great Britain on February 23rd, 2019. This event is main evented by Craig Jones versus Gabriel Arges.
That's a fucking fire match off the fucking bat. I mean, GrappleFest always puts on great cards. Craig Jones is always exciting. That's all I have to say about the main event. In terms of co-mains, we have Lachlan Giles versus Bradley Hill. We have Fawn Davies.
Wait, you just skip over that matchup? Like, dude, Lachlan's a murder. We just saw Lachlan on Quintet, and like that dude puts out some great instructionals and puts out some great performances as well. Like, he's a real good. I think he's a real underrated guy. Like, people sleep on him and realize that like he's co-main eventing this for a reason.
Yeah.
And Bradley Hill is again another like underrated guy we see on GrappleFest. We see in more UK stuff, but this is a really good matchup as well.
Absolutely.
Next matchup.
We got Fionn Davies versus Christine Martin. We have Freddie Vosgrone versus Ash Amos.
That's gonna be good, dude. Freddie is the guy that came out in the wrestling singlet last time.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's Freddie. And I met him at DC
man.
Open, and
yeah.
dude, dope wrestler and like really good, really active. active. Like, he put on an amazing matchup. I think at GrappleFest 2 or 3. And, like, there is a reason why he's going against Ast Amos on the top of the card here. Like, he comes out aggressive, and he pushes a pace.
Fucking big 100-kilogram bout.
Yeah, under 100 kilograms. So it's like, oh, cool, you got to be under 220. Like, big dudes.
Lloyd Cooper versus Gregor Stotto. We have Sean McDonough versus Marcus Phelan.
Ian O'Flanagan. Is it
Owen?
Oh, I always want to call him Ian. It's never Ian. It's always Owen.
Owen O'Flanagan versus Chris Walsh. I feel like Owen O'Flanagan is becoming the UK version of Wagner Hosha. I feel like
he's
always
you remember how,
on
like, UK events.
You and Josh were like, man, we've been saying Wagner Hosha's name a lot. Every time there's a fucking event in the UK, Owen O'Flanagan's on it.
Yeah. He's a perennial guy that, like, usually opens up the main card for a lot of these events. It's great.
Yeah. We got Nathan Dunna versus Isaac Michael. We have Jamie Scott versus James Orr. Jamie Hughes versus Ian Jones. Brian Fitzgibbon versus Jack Rimmer.
I just want to say we have 2 matches in a row where everyone is named basically James or Jamie.
Yeah. We have Harry McKnight versus Jack Sear. Lee Simpson versus Chris Reagan, Martin Wong versus Higo Gomez,
and then the rest of the card, it continues to go and go and go. It's a pretty large card, and there's a lot of fun matchups streaming on Flograppling. Watch it, enjoy it. It should be, I think, because it's Great Britain. I think these usually happen in the morning and usually end by about
afternoon,
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, maybe. I want to say I watched one during my Thanksgiving break a while ago, and it was like nice. You turn it on midday, watched a bunch of grappling, and then you had your evening to watch more grappling. So anything else on that event, Emil?
That's it. Super
excited for that. Looks great. So on to our preview of Finishers Sub Only 8. This card looks great. This card's happening in Rockaway, New Jersey, about 3 hours from us, so I'm going to make every effort I can. It's also on a Sunday to drive up and go cover this one live because this card looks great. It's a bunch of guys that we see and we cover all the time, and these guys always put on, like, really, really exciting, like, East Coast, and they're even starting to bring in more and more guys from around the country. Super great event, and there's always guys on these cards. Every single event that, like, we've slept on and don't know that put on just amazing performances. So I always get really excited to cover Finishers for that reason.
The way that this is formatted is that there's a 145-pound tournament, and then there are a series of super fights and then featured super fights. So I'm going to read off the 145-pound division. We have Keith Krikorian, who's obviously fucking amazing. It's going to already be an exciting tournament with him in the mix.
He's honest. I think he's been the champion. He's the champion at 55 for them.
Yeah.
So, like, he is a front runner for that division. I think he's trying to become the second 2-division champion for finishers, right behind Ethan Krellenstein.
Yep. Well, we also have Frank Rosenthal in there, and he can definitely give Keith a run for his money. We have Gabe Tejada, Sheridan Morin, Valor Boyer, Javier Guzman, Julio Riches, Judah Servo, Emilio Hernandez, Kyvan Gonzalez, George Strunk, J.M. Holland, who can also fucking throw down.
He helps run finishers. So
That's
it's
right.
Like he's a Eddie Bravo black belt as well.
Matt Vrovery, Kevin Hughes, and Mateus Batista. So
right now it's 15, so there is an unknown person on this bracket as well. So we'll hopefully find that out, closer to the event. It's always exciting, like 15 out of 16, like who's going to get that final spot for the 145-pound division. So this should be a lot of fun. Like these guys always run a great bracket, so it'll be really exciting. There's a number of guys that we just listed that really have the ability to take that, but I think you got to get through Keith to do that, and that dude is hard to beat, especially in this EDI format.
Yeah, I think Frank also has a good shot at taking it too. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see that. In terms of featured events, we have at 145 pounds, Rey Deleon versus John Battle. That's going to be fucking great.
Dude, John Battle is tough to beat at 45.
Yeah.
We saw him take the title at Philly versus Dennis Pressey Jr. in a really impressive performance for Fight to Win a little bit ago. And I don't know the last time we've seen Battle since then. I think he had an injury or something was going on, but super excited to see him back.
We've seen him in the trials. I'm fairly
Was
certain.
it the East Coast trials? I don't think we saw him West Coast trials.
Maybe not West Coast. I'm pretty sure he was in the East Coast. I'm almost 100% sure he was in the East Coast trials.
So exciting. We have another super fight matchup.
We have 170 pounds. We have Pierre-Olivier Leclerc versus Andrew Alexander.
And Pierre Leclerc, I want to say, is out of TriStar. I know he's at a TriStar, and I think he's the guy that won the Kasai qualifier at 170.
Okay, yeah, I remember this guy.
So that's a super exciting matchup because he is a dude that is not to be slept on as far as like good perennial top competitor.
We have Jess Feliciano versus Sarah Monzagillo.
And that's a 135-pound female bout. So we also on this card have a bunch of other super fights, and looking through them, usually on the lower cards of these, just because of how many names, we don't cover them all, but this one has a bunch of people that we have covered before that have put up really, really exciting performances. So we're going to run through a bunch of them.
All right, Kelsey Singh versus Christine Briggs, Jack Stapleton versus Alex Harrell, Catherine Malares versus Jacqueline Gola, Stefan Christina versus Vernon Jordan, Chloe Tomlinson versus Catherine Egan, Mike Rakshin versus Danny Lopez, Savannah Devaku versus Alyssa Pellin, Eric Naples versus Chris Crawford.
Maple Syrup, still one of the best Instagram names ever. Maple Syrup. I just love the dude's Instagram name. So we covered him on a lot of these guys we've covered before on SCGC 7 that we commentated, and he was one of the guys that we covered for them.
Alex Namath versus Sergio Villas, Alec Hubin versus Ian Stark, Chris Shangaloy versus Brian Antoine, Chris Crawford versus Kevin Dantzler, Zach Edwards versus Dante Muschamp. That's going to be fucking great.
And he's at 170 too. I want to say Zach is bigger than that, so he's cutting down to get to 170 because he's a tall dude.
Yeah, he is.
So that should be a really fun
really
matchup.
Entertaining for sure. Tom Selmer versus Michael Castruba, Nick Rodriguez versus Eddie Sponeybarger.
We've heard Nick's name before.
Yes, Nick is. We've obviously covered Nick before. He's fucking super.
Not very much. He's only been doing jiu-jitsu for 9 months.
Yep.
But is still able to win the West Coast ADCC West Coast Trials as a no-stripe blue belt, and then got 2 stripes for winning the trials. Dude, his story is just crazy. So I've talked to Nick a little bit this week, and I've talked to Javier Labudo.
Yeah, I saw that, and like it's nuts that he didn't practice that fucking cartwheel pass.
Let's talk about that. So I asked Nick, I was like, hey, I was trying to like put together some highlights. I was like, hey, have you hit that move that you took the back in the finals before? And he goes, oh no, I just did that.
He just did.
And I was like, wait, what? He goes, I never practiced that. I just did that. And it was like, dude, what? Like, I think I had this like long pause between messages, and I just went, oh, okay. Like there's just speechless. Like, wait, you've never practiced that? You just decided like, I'll do a cartwheel to this guy's back, and then it works in the ADCC trials finals. Like, you're just gonna go for that, like in the finals event for a spot into the biggest no-gi event our sport has, and it works.
Yep.
So super excited to see Nick Rodriguez on this event, and Eddie's in. He's got a tough matchup ahead of him. This should be really exciting. But again, we haven't seen Nick, so it's like we don't know where he could potentially struggle or like be really good. Like we just haven't seen him a ton. We saw him on the East Coast trials and the West Coast trials. I think we see him on like 4 other super fight events in the future that we're gonna cover before ADCC itself. But like, I am really excited for this matchup for a bunch of reasons, and that being one of them.
Hell yeah. Cici Mena versus Chelsea Mappa, Corey Guittard versus Enrique Galarza, Diego Ponce versus Daniel Hernandez.
So this is a lot of fun. Most of the super fight matchups are 6 minutes with 1 round of overtime. Towards the end of them, they are 8 minutes with three overtime rounds, like really standard EBI format. I think the overtime is now max out at 2 minutes is the new format that they're using. I think EBI is using that format as well. So really excited for this. Hopefully I will get a chance to go to it live, but I need to figure out if basically when I will get back, if I can record the show in time that Sunday if I go to the event.
Oh yeah.
So, looking forward to that one. So, moving on to our preview of the 2019 Flograppling Showdown happening in Salina Beach, California on February 23rd, 2019. Also happening on a Sunday. This was originally called at least Atos versus GF Team, and then I actually didn't know it was streamed on Flograppling until a little later. So, this is cool.
Those are the 2 gyms. I love this concept. You have 2
It's a dual
powerhouse
meet.
gyms, like putting up people in weighted super fights.
It's almost like Subversive.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah, so it's a team-based event, and again, we don't know a ton about anything about this event. in all honesty. We know that it's Atos versus GF Team, and we have a series of like entrants in it, and we'll read through the entrants here now. And it's basically 1-on-1, and the best team wins a cash prize and the title for #1 jiu-jitsu team in the world. So into the 66 kilogram matchup, we have
Joao Mendes, who represents Atos, versus Israel Souza, who represents GF Team.
77 kilograms.
Michael Liera Jr., Atos, versus Jaime Canuto, GF Team.
That's a really good matchup.
Holy
shit.
shit.
So not gonna lie, Mio, this is the first time I've looked at these matchups. I knew it was on the list, but I was like, okay, it's
Me
Sunday.
Too. Look at
we'll
this
look at
next
it up.
one.
Yeah.
88 kilograms. Keenan Cornelius of Atos versus Dante Leon of GF Team. That's going to be fucking awesome.
Dude, so Keenan's coming hot off his rubber guard DVD, Jesus. His
Lapel DVD.
lapel guard wizardry DVD, and Dante Leon is just coming off of Kasai, where he got he choked Mateus Lutz.
Yep.
In that kind of weird ref stand-up thing. But dude, they look like a monster in that, and Keenan's looked outstanding as well. So I want to say this is going to be in the gi.
It must be.
It's got to be in the gi.
Yeah.
99 kilograms.
We have Lucas the Hulk Barbosa of Atos versus Gutenberg Pereira of GF Team.
Dude, I haven't seen Gutenberg in a little bit, but I watched him beat Tim Spriggs in Maryland for the heavyweight gi title at Fight to Win, and dude is impressive to watch. And dude, Hulk, like, was he what? Quarterfinals of the Worlds? Finals of the Worlds? Like,
Hulk?
Yeah.
He won.
Oh, he won the World. God damn, I just said that out loud.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, did he? It's like he didn't
I was
win.
like, is man fucking for real? I mean, his quarterfinal
Dude,
match.
we've covered a lot of jiu-jitsu, and I got confused. I was like, did he win? You're like, yeah, he won, dog.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Remember?
No, you're thinking of the quarterfinal match versus
where he reversed it.
Mateus Denis.
Yeah. Where they went back and forth in that choke, and he almost got finished, and then he came back and finished Denis with the choke.
So I would say that of his run, his quarterfinal match is the most like memorable.
And
match.
that's why I thought he got knocked out in the corners, and he didn't. He fucking won.
Yeah,
he won the Worlds. So on to the plus 100 kilogram division.
Kaynan Duarte of Atos versus Max Gimenis of GF Team.
We just saw Max Gimenis versus Mahamed Aly this last weekend, and he got collar choke from that weird like pass position, or he pat from the knee cut.
Yeah.
And Kaynan Duarte has looked like a monster. I think he most recently got beat by Gordon at Nogi Worlds. Is the last time I've seen him compete.
No, Kaynan was on something very recently, and I'm trying to remember what it was.
I'm also blanking on it, but like, dude, all of these matchups are absolutely outstanding. These are the showcase guys in each weight class, for Atos and for GF Team. Like, any one of these matchups could go either way.
It's absurd. Oh, it's Euros. That's where we saw him.
Oh, that's where we saw him. Okay. Yeah, I was wrong.
Because he lost to Lucas Lepre. Remember that?
That
was like that fucking amazing.
Dude, these all blur together.
Single leg takedowns that this little Lucas Lepre.
And we were super surprised. Like, why is Lepre's a gangster for this?
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
Dude, but again, we're talking about the guys' losses, but like we haven't gone through like all of their wins and just domination of everything else when they have.
Oh, he won his division. He won his division at Euros.
Yeah.
And obviously fucking Nogi Worlds. He won. So he's a fucking beast, no doubt, and he's a new black belt. I just looking at this consolidation of talent on either team. It's crazy to me to think that like these dudes train together at the same fucking gym.
Dude,
that's nuts.
I love these. Like, I love that we're seeing more of these things. Like, people are mixing up the rules, mixing up the divisions. Like, we're starting to get these team formats like Quintet and Subversive and the Showdown. Like, this is it is gonna be a stupid busy weekend of jiu-jitsu. And so let me run through this week. So on Friday night, we have anything else on this event, Emil?
Nope.
All right. So on Friday night next week, we have Combat Jiu-Jitsu Fight Night. Okay. Then on Saturday morning in the East Coast time, we have GrappleFest 4. Saturday evening, we have BJJ Stars. Then Sunday morning-ish, afternoon-ish, we have Finishers Invitational 8. And then Sunday evening, I think we have Atos versus GF Team. That's next weekend. Strap in. I'm going to be tired.
Yep. It's going to be fucking good.
Rich should look at me like, you want to come do something? No, I'm watching jiu-jitsu right now. How many more matches are there? Sunday.
Hundreds.
Sunday, I'm going to come back and see you then. So, yeah, it's going to be a good weekend. So, I think that does it for the show this week, Emil. What,
yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, man. I'm good.
Awesome. So usually we do an outro here, but we've just covered like 6 events, and we've pretty much said everything we want to say.
Yeah.
I've been Maine.
I've been Emil.
And we are the Grappling Rewind Podcast. See you on the mats. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
let us know.
Reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.